Welcome back to San Francisco, the Olympic Club. My name is Dave Vincent alongside Elite 8, John Iglesias for this men's quarterfinal match. Luis Moreno, Marco Chavez. You've played and beaten them both. And now you're in the booth talking about their match.
I appreciate that introduction, David. It's good to be here.
I felt I was maybe embellishing half of that, but it dawned on me that it actually has happened.
It has.
New York, you defeated Luis Moreno, and you've also taken down Marco Chavez in one of the playoff matches in race history, and now you're here talking about both of them.
Yes. Marcos is a dangerous player. I'm just going to start off with him right now because I don't really know how old he is, but he's also the #1 senior Pro Tour player right now, and here he is in the round of 8.
And you might recall just a couple years back where Marcos took down Luis Moreno in Tucson, Arizona. When Luis was the #1 ranked player, Marcos came in and just took him down in the round of 8, the exact same round. Now, this is a different Chavez. He has back spasms and injuries, and we all do when we get old, and he's also a couple years older than that moment when he took him down. And Moreno is also a different player from that time, where he was really focused back then, and now he's not so focused. And
well, it's tough, you know, like winning so many times and being focused for so long. And but we'll see how this game goes. I know Marcos is very dangerous off the back wall, and when he gets into the match, he's very dangerous. So.
Well, thank you for that. John
Marcos
Iglesias.
Chavez serving from LA, California versus Luis Moreno returning serve from
Danny
Tucson,
Cordova is our
Arizona.
referee here.
0-0. Cooney and Donnie. They're both line judging, right? 0-0.
Donnie Rodriguez and Steve Cooney both line judging here. And now we're into play as we're welcoming in Dave Fink. John Iglesias just stepping in for just a brief introduction to talk about the players.
Side out.
And there's a side out.
0 serve 0. Short. Second serve. Point.
Luis going to an overhand lob early in this.
0.
Very early in this
Short
first
ball.
game. You remember, Dave, a number of years ago, it was Marco
Appeals.
Chavez basically destroying
see.
Luis Moreno. It was
Agreed.
circa 2008, early 2009. Beat him at the Tucson Racket Club in Luis's home court, 21-2, 21-8. That was not an official pro stop, but since then, Marcos has had no success against Luis. You remember them playing in the finals of the junior benefit event in 2013 November, and Luis just crushing Marcos, and he's done it on a couple of other occasions as well. And I think Luis is one of these guys that says, you know what, you might have beat me a few years ago, but you're going to pay for it forever.
Yeah. But I don't think Luis is the type of guy that holds grudges, but I think he holds one when it comes to what happened to him in Tucson, Arizona.
2-0.
Were you in Tucson at that time, Dave?
I was, and
Short
I'm
ball.
surprised you're asking me if I was, but
Second
yeah,
serve.
I actually remember the moment when it occurred, and
Wow.
I was very
Point.
high on Marcos because I said, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize how
3
good this
serve
guy
0.
is. I mean, he's taking down the #1 player on the tour right now.
Well, I only asked
Replay.
because I thought that was potentially, I know you moved there in 2009, and that was either
3 serve
early,
0.
mid 2009, I think, so that's
Yeah,
why.
It was I decided to move there about a year before I moved there, and then
4-0.
it occurred, and I think this tournament was just a couple months after I was in town.
Okay.
Strange overhit there from Marcos, but hits to the perfect spot on the sidewall, and he misses another one, 5-0. continuing the trend here in the quarterfinals.
5 serve 0. Short ball. Second serve. Point. 6-0. Short ball. Second serve.
You know, Dave, we saw Marcos going into the court and said good luck, and he had that look like a soldier
Timeout.
that knew he was just going to die on the front line. I mean, it was just kind of like, well, I'm going to
Score 7-0.
just basically meet my death here
Well,
in this event.
Marcos normally will come up to you and say, I'm going to take this to a tiebreaker. But you didn't hear any bold predictions, and I've not seen Marcos predict something that he didn't actually, carry through with. But he didn't predict anything. He said, my back. That was his answer. My back. Now in the women's drop down, going for 5th place, Yvonne August loses. Nope, she doesn't. She wins 25-23 against Shirley Chen. She said, I was just not making my shots at all today, but I'll be back to take this title. So I play the winner of Courtney and quote unquote the other girl. As we watch that women's 5th place drop-down match take place on another show court across from our broadcast booth here at the Olympic Club in San Francisco, where we're in the men's quarterfinals. All men's and all women's quarterfinal matches streamed live for the first time in the history of the WPH, trying to give more unity to the men. In fact, every match that you'll see for the men, you'll also see for the women.
Replay.
For the first time ever at this event.
7 serving 0.
Amazing serve from Luis. Marcos flipped it back. Looked like he might have got one of those lucky side outs, but Luis just right there. And Dave, can we officially never count Luis Moreno out again? I mean, we hear rumors.
Ridiculous.
I mean,
0 serving 8.
he's just the most consistent player in the history of the race for 8. And you say, well, what about Paul Brady? Well, Paul Brady has only played in 8 events out of 25. Luis has played in 24 out of 25, so he's got the consistency in terms of starts. And then literally every start he's in winning it or in the finals or in the semifinals. He's lost in the quarterfinals 3 times. So out of 24 starts entering this event, he's been to at least the semifinals in 21 of them. He's won 9.
Wow.
He's lost in the finals, I believe, 4 times.
Point.
So, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's
9-0.
Yeah, that's unreal, really.
Point.
Amazing
10-0.
consistency. I was thinking Emmett was pretty consistent, but that's only for the last 6 tournaments.
right. I mean,
You're talking about since
that
the
4 times.
Yeah, the inception of the
Yeah.
Race Rate Tour, maybe
11-0.
5 times.
What? ¿Es vuelta?
This is actually our first argument of the tournament, Dave.
Hit the camera, knock the camera over. See? I mean, I saw that, but I don't know if it was going to make it. All right. We'll replay it. All right. We'll replay it.
Well, there's another loophole. That's called hashtag loophole.
Yeah.
You never know. It might have-
Hashtag
it might
only a
have
matter
been
of time when it comes to these events.
This is one of those things where it's one of those, well, you never know. It could have had another bad bounce
We're
and
gonna
come right
replay
to
that. The
you.
score is 10 serving 0.
Yeah.
The players are turning into lawyers here. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the camera, maybe you could have had a bad bounce and come back perfectly into your hand and then rolled out on the front wall.
After it bounced the second time.
On accident. Officer, I slipped and fell and
Replay.
accidentally stabbed my wife 4 times. Well,
That's called going to the next level. Maybe like
10-0.
10 more levels.
sorry to get graphic, but I was thinking, you know, what a great Valentine's Day it is.
Uh-huh.
That's a back wall shot. Marcos flips it back to the front wall.
Point.
Excuse me, Luis.
Well, let me hear that, you know, Emmett and Luis are basically exactly the same, just like Martin and Luis and Martin and Emmett, and we'll go on down the list.
I feel like I'm being criticized.
No, just judged.
Before I hit it, he's like right behind me, like ready to push me.
Okay, give us some space. That one, that's why I didn't give it to you over, because you were going the wrong way. I know, but you're giving him too little space. All right, 11-0. Side out. 0 serve 11.
Believe it or not, Dave, this is what Marcos needs. He needs this kind of controversy and arguing, and he's kind of like McEnroe in that way, Dave, where he actually starts playing better when he starts talking.
Short ball.
No, I agree.
A lot of guys, you say, well, you got to
Second serve.
keep your head and keep the even keel, but Marcos really thrives on trash talking and chirping with the ref.
Side out. 0 serves 11. Point.
Marcos has to hit a perfect 30-foot overhand tomahawk that rides the right wall to score his first point.
1 serves 11. Point. Two 11. Side out. Eleven serving 2. Point.
Luis just rips a huge natural hop that jumps away from Marcos. He's been serving predominantly with a reverse that comes into Marcos.
Short.
And that's basically like a screwball, Dave. You're expecting the slider and the ball goes the other way.
Yeah, that's rough, especially with those older legs. Younger, you just seem to be able to kind of make up for it a little bit. Marcos is going to have to start thinking, and it's terrible to think and play at the same time. Dave, as you get older, I know that sometimes you have to start thinking as well, and it's just tough.
Second serve.
I'd love to talk to some of the greats, Dave, like a Dave Chapman, and say, how do you defend that deep 2-ball serve? What would you do? I don't know. I think the open hand paddle where you catch the outside of the ball and bring it right back to yourself without bringing it off the back wall with the off speed is probably, that's a terrible shot from Marcos.
Luis will get this.
But you would say that's probably the best way to play that shot?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let it slide out of your hand a little bit. That's a nice little kill shot there from Chavez. Now serving at 2-13.
2 serves 13. Point.
Marcos has a great back wall game.
3-13. Side out. 13 serves 3. Short ball. Second serve.
Dave, it looks like Karamak is sitting next to Sean Lenning. Maybe we can get a word with Kara and Sean at the next time out, or maybe when this game ends, which looks like it could happen pretty soon.
Side out. 3 serves 13. Replay.
Dave, Luis,
Three
a
serves
little
and
bit like
13.
Tiger Woods right now, where he was so dominant for 3 years, really, you know, by far the best player on the tour.
Side
And
out.
then he's had these just unbelievably humiliating losses in the last 2 tournaments that he's played, losing to Sean Lenning
13 serves
15 to 2, 15 to 3, then 21 to 7, 21 to 5. Kind of like when Tiger went to Phoenix and shot an 82. I mean, it's just kind of unthinkable.
Point.
And I'm not saying he should feel embarrassed by it by any means, but it's just never
Possible
happened
game
before.
point, serves
No, it
3.
hasn't, but he really does seem like he's responding
Yeah.
in the right way.
That's game.
And that is game number 1, 15 to 3 here in the quarters. And Emmett yesterday had some of those back issues. Today, he looked better. Yesterday, Paul Brady looked good. Luis Moreno looked good. Today, they even look better. I mean, these elite guys just seem to get better. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Dave, you played exceptionally well today. And then
Thank you.
one of the guys that didn't look good today after looking really good yesterday, kind of breaking the trend of where I'm going with this, is Sean Lenning. We have Kara Mack in the sidelines out there in the gallery. Kara, what's going on?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm here with Sean. Sean, watching Luis play here after you beat him there in Houston so badly. How have you seen him come to this tournament now and play differently?
Oh, he's just an animal. I mean, tournament's different, so this doesn't surprise me. He's good.
You guys come in here, the top guys are always being put against each other. What do you have to do to improve your game, improve your strategy to beat someone?
I just need to work on the mental aspects of my game. Just kind of get that little place where you're not too excited, but not too relaxed, and not thinking too much, but thinking enough. So trying to find that kind of spot, my sweet spot, which I did a little bit in Houston, not so much here, but we'll see. I play later today. Maybe I'll play good then.
How much is it changing your strategy against the certain players that you're playing?
Oh, my strategy doesn't really change. I like to think my best game's good enough no matter what they're doing, but maybe I should work on some strategies. I don't know.
Yeah, what's kind of going through your mind right now walking away from that match earlier?
Oh, I'm frustrated. I feel like I'm playing better than I played, so give him credit for playing well, but I didn't put up much resistance. It's really frustrating.
You've played obviously many times Moreno, beat him very well the last time you played him. What does Marcos have to do right now to come back?
Oh, I think this will be a better game here. I don't know. I don't know what he needs to do. Luis is, when he's good, what are you going to do? Not much, but he can just hit his own shots. He was missing a lot as well, so I don't know. Hustle.
You saw Moreno get a little frustrated when he thought that he was kind of getting right on his back there. Is that something you kind of pushed a little bit more to get him more frustrated?
Well, they're both kind of close players, and so they're both guilty in their own ways of some interesting things. So I don't know. I think it goes to Marcos' advantage because he gets in people's head, because he is kind of nasty on the court, even though he's real nice outside the court. But I think it'll just fire Luis up. I don't think there's much love lost between them for whatever reason. So,
Can we look forward to seeing you in New York?
Pretty sure.
You're going to bring your game, right?
A game.
And hope that those two don't eat any garlic if they're getting that close to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Back to you
Okay,
guys.
wait. Best interview ever.
Yeah, obviously.
Best interview Sean's ever given.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the Sean Lenning that we've been talking
Can't we
about.
just turn the broadcast over to Sean and
I mean,
Kara?
he's just amazing.
Seriously.
Can we?
Yeah, I mean, for
Also
the sake
tournament
of
control
everyone
and-
listening. Yeah,
In charge of deputy.
yeah.
I mean, it would just be amazing.
Second game.
Here's the password to my email account, Kara. It's official. You are now the executive director of the WPH. There was no vote. I think even Dave agrees, and that's a kill shot there from Marcos here to start off game number 2. Nobody scored more than 7 points as an opponent in any of these quarterfinal matches.
0-0.
I mean, did Sean Lenning just write all of those answers down and then just rehearse and say the exact
delivery
right
was
thing?
the best part.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what else could you actually say as a guy being interviewed?
Nothing better than what he said.
I mean, he didn't answer the question, but he also answered it while he didn't answer. I mean, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
And look who has a quick early lead
1-0.
here.
But you heard Sean say that there's no love lost between these two.
For whatever reason,
well,
he said.
I can imagine the reasons. And they're not just because Luis lost a match to him in 2009. That's
Side
a good shot from
Well,
Luis.
Marcos is an antagonizer.
Well, there
0 serves
seems to
1.
be a pattern that Luis has a problem with these older veterans, these guys that are now kind of entering the senior tour. We've seen it with
Second
other
serve.
guys from Southern California. It's interesting because he's just the nicest guy, Luis, and that was a bad
I know.
bounce.
Replay.
But
replay.
I've never seen him have a problem with anyone, but
What's
yet
up?
something about these 40-year-olds.
It's Marcos Chavez versus Luis. It's Nadi Alvarado
0
versus
serves 1.
Luis.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just
Well, I can remember the last time Luis played Dave Chapman and gave him a donut at the U.S. Open, and it was like he was going for it. He dove on top of him at 19-0, as a matter of fact, locking it in.
1-1.
Can you define what it is, please?
Well, in
1 to
this case,
1.
it was a donut that he
Okay.
was going for, a 0.
Okay. Can't imagine Dave Chapman
Point.
and the word donut being used in the same sentence.
Oh, you can't.
Oh, too soon.
2
Wow.
serves 1.
Well, we know he's not watching, so it's not
Even if he were.
Side out. 1 serves 2.
Nice shot there, Marco
Point.
Chavez, who I believe is an older version of
2 serves 2.
sort of an Alan Garner type character.
Mm.
I believe that Marcos has sort of got all of those, or you know, Alan Garner's have the sort of chemical makeup of Marco Chavez. Now, he's just an athletic specimen, Alan Garner is, but
Side out.
that craftiness where Marcos is always thinking, I can go to the ceiling, but when he does go to the ceiling, he does it with so much confidence.
2-2.
But then when I want to ground and pound, I can do it with so much confidence. And even though he's
Side out.
41 years old, you just like, he still has the moments of that
2-2.
Alan Garner thing where he gets those big back wall setups and he puts them away. He's not intimidated. He gets into your head.
Point.
He's antagonizing you through the whole tournament anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Crafty.
know that Alan Garner does too much antagonizing.
No, he doesn't do that part, but as you get older, you start learning some of those things. I'm not sure Marcos was an antagonizer early. I played him when he was in his 20s, and he didn't do that. But then when
contact
you're
there?
scoring 0, what is there to
Yeah.
antagonize?
Thanks, Marco. 3 serves 2.
Well, I think what you're saying is they're both shot makers. And that does make them similar. They've played some really close matches against each
Replay.
other also. You remember
Yeah, that
the
was
Los Angeles Athletic Club first round, race for 8 won, an event where Alan Garner went on to the finals there and almost won.
3 serves 2.
And that was a rally scoring 25-23, 25-22, 2 games. And that was a
Point.
terrible shank there from Luis Moreno. That's like teeing your ball up, Dave, and
4 serves 2.
never getting it off the ground.
Side out. Two serves 4. Replay.
A lot of hinders here, Dave.
Well,
and it's not
Moreno does hit balls right down the middle of the
Okay.
court. And he does not directly front
2
to
serves
back,
4.
but you've seen him hit sidewall so hard and deep into the sidewall that it comes right down the middle. And you know, if you're one
Side
of
out.
these players Dave, that you run back to the middle of that red carpet, you're going to run right into Luis. He hits a lot of balls right across the middle of the court. He just happens to hit him 90 miles per hour. You see a lot of replays because of it. Marco's
Second
here
serve.
on a second serve.
Side out.
And Luis just says, well, I'm ranked number 2 in the world.
Two serves, 4. Point.
Luis with a nifty left-hand punch kill. He's
3
got those
serves,
shots
4.
in the front, and when he's hitting them, a lot like what Sean Lenning said, what can he do? I mean, you can't really do anything. Wow.
Side out. 4-3. Side out. Three serves, 4.
And Luis with a diving re-kill. Luis isn't really a diver, Dave. He goes down there, digs out a Marco Chavez kill shot attempt,
4-4.
and floats in a re-kill.
We're all tied at 4 here. Luis teeing off.
Point.
Beautiful kill shot there. Left side, Moreno with his 5th point.
5 serves, 4. Point.
Now 6-4 Moreno.
6 serves, 4. Point. Timeout. You have 1 minute. Score 7, serving 4. Lucho.
Timeout here for Marcos, who's now lost 6 straight points after a good start to this second game. And Dave, we have Kara Mack once again in the gallery. Kara.
Hey there, guys. All right. Here's Katrina Casey. She's up next out on here on this court. You've had some time now to watch these guys. You're a big fan of men's handball. You're one of the only gal players I ever see out here watching every single match. What have you learned from them?
I learn a lot from them. Like, if I wasn't here now, I'd definitely be watching at home online. But it's interesting because they all have such different styles. Like, I can learn a lot from them. Probably the number one thing is like to be more aggressive and offensive, because I played in the qualifier there yesterday, and that was probably what came against me. Like, not going for enough kill shots or punishing setups and stuff like that. But yeah, even watching their serves, like say Marco Chavez, they're like his serve is really unique and distinctive compared to everyone else, and he kind of shows that maybe it doesn't have to be all about power all the time, you know. And even like Sean Lenning there earlier, he always goes for a crack serve, like on a second serve, rather than playing it safe. So there are things that I like to try out as well. And yeah, just love watching them all play.
And you play against these guys. How much does that help your game?
Oh, it helps a lot. Yeah, like the other night I got to spar against Emmett Pichot, Sean Lenning, then the next day Mondo Ortiz and Abraham here. So yeah, like I was just delighted with myself, and obviously I beat them all as well, so it's great.
Obviously, right? Isn't that like the dream to beat every single one of them?
That's the dream.
And if you're you're the person who would be able to do it. So I do wish you luck on this one, all right? All right, good luck in your next match. You play with Danielle, who you've not played for years. What do you think's coming in with that?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game because it's been a couple of years now. I think collegiates was probably the last time we played in Arizona, and she's really improved her four-wall game. She's an aggressive player, actually. She's hard enough to read. Like her style is unique as well, and I'm looking forward to it. She'll definitely be a dangerous player with the games to 15 format, like so. Yeah, just hopefully I can play well.
Best of luck to you. Thank you. And back to you guys.
Point.
Second best interview of the day.
Well, there's
co-executive
directors now. We've got Katrina and Kara.
That's
will
right.
be
Running the show.
duly, yeah.
The new Dave and Dave, alongside Sean Linning as the Fred Lewis of the organization.
9 serves 4.
Do you think they'll let us run errands?
What will Larry Linning be in this equation? No, they won't
Side
let
out.
us run, and that was an amazing kill shot from Marco Chavez,
serve
left-handed
9.
flat.
Short ball. Second serve.
Oh, beautiful back wall shot there from Marcos, and that's exactly what Katrina was referring to, those unique shots from Marco Chavez. Marcos has never met a back wall shot that he didn't like.
5 serves 9.
He'll basically shoot the bottom board anytime the ball touches the back wall.
Big setup here for Luis Moreno.
Oh my.
And he hits it right in the ground. Point now for Marcos, 6-9.
Luis dubs another one, Dave. I say dub it because that's like topping it
6
off the
serves
tee.
9.
You've got your driver out. You've got to carry that lake right in front of you, and you just hit it right in the front of
Side
the
out.
lake.
And Luis comes back with his own flat rollout there.
9-6.
Marcos trying to tie the most points scored by somebody who loses a match here today. Oh, that ball is hit so hard by Moreno that it just comes straight 3-wall.
10-6.
So strange to see Marcos get fooled by that because he's the one that normally hits that type of shot.
Want to say hello to Ben Edel and Edel Handball. Ben is enthusiastically
11-6.
watching at home in Portland. Hashtag loophole.
Don't quite understand what that loophole means, but
Well, we talked about the loophole when the ball hit the camera. I know that your short-term memory is starting to go.
no, I said hashtag
12-6.
loophole, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, what does it mean with you guys?
Oh, it was actually tweeted at both of us. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right. So I understand now. Thought maybe there was an inside joke that it pertained
Well,
to that comment. And
Side
what
Moreno,
happens when you spend most of your time on Pinterest and not on Twitter?
have you been there
6-12.
lately? It's an amazing website.
Yeah.
I like looking at cute dog and cat photos.
Huh.
Marco Chavez, back wall, goes for the crack, doesn't get it, left hand. Just kind of pushing Moreno to the back wall. I don't know if Marcos realizes what Luis
Side out.
likes to do from back there, and he hits a mouse with the left-handed kill rollout. Luis lives on that
12-6.
back wall. Now Moreno's just walking away.
13 serves 6.
Quickly now,
Short
Davis.
ball.
This match has gotten away from Marcos, who got off to a pretty good
Second
start
serve.
here in this second game.
Well, I thought so.
Hasn't been able to sustain it, though.
Point. You need a towel?
And now we're at match point.
Possible match point, serving 6.
This could be it right here, Dave.
Well, Luis has already hit some great shots in this rally, and he ends it with a 2-all pass
Good
that
match.
eats up Marcos.
And Luis Moreno advances to the semifinals, 15-3, 15-6. That's kind of
No.
apropos, I guess, for what we've seen today here in the quarterfinals. As we run down some of those scores, the early one was when you faced Armando Ortiz. The score there was 15-2 and then 15-5 as Dave Fink defeats Mondo in that early match. Paul Brady comes in and defeats Paul Brady 15-3, 15-4, and then Emma Pichot takes down Danny Cordova 15-2, 15-7, and here 15-3, 15-5 as Moreno gets past Marco Chavez. That means that Paul Brady's going to play you, Dave Fink, and then Luis Moreno's going to play Emmett Pichot today at 4 and 5 respectively. Right now on my watch it says 1:42 with a couple ticks. You have about 2 hours and a few minutes to try to get ready for a grueling semifinal match against the #1 player probably to ever live. And I mean, there's no pressure, of course.
Why?
But why?
Well, I mean, why is there no pressure? I've never understood that argument, why there's no pressure.
I'm just don't know how there would be against the #1 player.
Isn't there pressure anytime you play? I mean, you're
Is
trying
there?
to win.
No, I don't play to
Oh, you
win.
don't?
I just play to
No.
get a workout.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm assuming you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you have to do to beat Paul? You've seen him play already here in this tournament. You watched every match in Houston. There's something going on with him where he just seems to be different than any other time we've ever watched him. More jovial, a little bit more relaxed.
Jovial? How do you spell that?
I don't know. It starts. I think it starts with an H. What are you going to do?
Well, it's like what Sean Lenning said, there's no weaknesses when you play Paul Brady, so I'm going to go in there and hit the best shots I can. I hope I can get in a groove on my serve and get some first strike opportunities and take advantage of those. I know he's going to hit a lot of great shots, so I'll just do the best I can. Play hopefully as well as I did this morning, and then whatever happens, happens. I'll be happy either way if I can play to the best of my potential.
Emma Pichot, Luis Moreno.
Well, that's going to be a very interesting match. These guys that have developed, I think, the best rivalry in the game right now as far as close matches. Kind of like Alan Garner and Sean Lenning were a couple years ago. Every time they matched up, it was really close. It was really exciting. And that's what we've had with Emmett and Luis over the last 6 months. Emmett finally knocked the door down and beat Luis at the Nationals with that amazing comeback. Then it was Luis beating Emmett in Milwaukee and Tucson. Close matches, particularly in Milwaukee where he beat him 11-10. And I'm expecting another very good match today. Luis looks motivated, looks really strong. Emmett looks strong this morning despite potentially some sort of back injury. So that's going to be a great one.
Well, we're going to have it here live, and it's going to be fun. We also have the women's semifinals as well. But in the meantime, there's going to be a junior WPH clinic, and then we'll get into that semifinals match with Katrina Casey and Jay Gull in the lower bracket, who's also our #2 ranked player on the Women's Pro Tour. So we'll get to all of that. There's so much more handball to be played, and it's going to be exciting. We thought that the lineups in the quarterfinals were great. The results were lopsided. But now we're going to say that the semifinals in the men are going to be horrible. Do you think it'll work? We'll find out. Wait around. We have the semifinals for the women after the Junior WPH Clinic, and that's coming up right around the corner here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. Stick with us.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Play your part in the circle of life. Take time to be a dad today. Visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.